I saw the whole thing, and I'm still not sure I believe it. The four-armed giant hit the deck like someone cut his strings. 1 second, he's mid-lunge, all that ballistic weave armor gleaming, bioluminescence pulsing across his combat scales. Then nothing. 2 seconds. That's all it took. Alara Vance, human, barely comes up to his second elbow, and she just shut him down. Found that nerve cluster before his prey drive even finished firing. The hall went dead silent except for the hum of the training field and Zyla's confused wheeze as he tried to figure out why his limbs wouldn't answer. But wait, it didn't start like that. Truth is, an hour earlier, we were laughing at her. The orbital vanguard citadel doesn't do mediocrity. You walk those chrome corridors. You've earned it through genetics, through evolution, through being born better than the species next to you. And that morning, we knew it. Kale, the Kale. 3-time champion from the Proxima colonies. He's holding court in the assembly hall and we're all eating it up, comparing regeneration rates, debating whether crystalline bone structure beats chitinous plating. The usual siege mentalities you get when everyone's convinced they're apex. Then she walks in, this human girl wearing, I don't even know what to call it, a coat, not armor, not even modern fabric, just this ancient, faded logistics coat that looked like it survived attrition itself. Patches worn thin, seams holding on through spite alone. And the aliens, they lost it. Cal made some crack about primitive camouflage. Someone else laughed about how humans couldn't afford ballistic weave. The whole room rippled with that casual cruelty you get when apex predators forget they started somewhere too. Ilara didn't react, just found a seat in the back, draped that coat over the chair and pulled out a datapad. They laughed at the fabric, unaware they were mocking a funeral shroud that refused to stay buried. Then the doors exploded inward. Not literally, but High Commander Gore doesn't need explosives to make an entrance. This thing, and I mean thing with respect, is what happens when 4 species get messy during wartime and produce something that should have been illegal. 7 feet of hybrid combat evolution, scales that drink light, eyes that track movement. 3 rooms away. When Gora stepped into that hall, every instinct I had screamed predator so loud I forgot how to breathe. The laughing stopped instantly. Gore moved through the ranks like a scanning array, and I watched every cadet lock up. Perfect posture. Nobody daring to meet those eyes. And here's the thing about Gore: he doesn't lecture, doesn't need to. His presence does the talking. Until he stopped. Dead stop. Right in front of the human girl in the ancient coat. Right in front of Alara, and for the first time since entering, Gore's expression changed. He leaned down, slow, deliberate, and I swear the temperature in that hall dropped 10 degrees. His eyes, all 3 of them, locked onto something on her coat. The unit patch, faded to almost nothing but still there. Some kind of emblem with crossed rifles and a number. Iron 7th. Gore's voice came out barely above a whisper, but in that silence, might as well have been a gunshot. Siege of Moon 9. Elara looked up, met his eyes without flinching. Yes, sir, my grandfather's unit. And here's where it got weird. Gore straightened up, and something flickered across that hybrid. Face something almost like respect. No, recognition. Sergeant Vance dug me out of a collapsed bunker, he said, louder now, addressing the entire hall. Under fire, atmosphere failing. He was 53 standard years old and hauled my sorry carcass 3 kilometers through hive-swarm drone territory with a punctured lung. The room stayed frozen. 300 humans, Gore continued, and his voice picked up that edge commanders get when they're about to make a point. Held that moon for a full rotation year. No resupply. No atmosphere scrubbers after month 4. Against 10,000 hive-swarm drones with bioluminescence markers that could spot heat signatures through solid rock. He paused. Let that math sink in. They didn't retreat. They didn't surrender. They just refused to die. You could have heard a bolt drop. Then Gore turned back to Alara, and his expression went cold. Zyla. Front and center. The 4-armed heavy who'd been making the jokes, his scales went pale. But he moved. Pride wouldn't let him refuse. Live test, Gore announced. Standard engagement. First to immobilize wins. It wasn't a charity case. It was a predator wearing sheep's clothing. Zyla had every advantage. Reach, mass, 4 limbs against 2. That ballistic weave armor that cost more than most ships. And I'm watching Alara stand up, still wearing that ancient coat, and thinking this is a massacre. Xyla came in fast, using his upper arms to feint while the lower pair went for a grapple textbook multi-limb assault. Good strategy against someone smaller. Except Alara didn't back up. She moved toward him, slipped inside his guard like water through fingers, and her hand, just her bare hand, found that primary nerve cluster at the base of his middle spine. 2 seconds. I timed it later. 2 seconds from engagement to collapse. Biology dictates limits. Humans treat those limits as suggestions. Human bone density, Gore explained into the stunned silence, is evolutionary overkill for their gravity. Compound that with a neurological wiring that interprets pain as information rather than deterrent. He gestured at Xyla, who was still trying to reboot his motor functions. They're built for attrition, for spite, for outlasting everything that should kill them. Xyla, to his credit, rolled onto his back and looked up at Alara. Tactical critique? His voice came out rough but genuine. Please. And she gave it. Calm, professional, pointed out the 3 openings in his assault pattern, like she was discussing weather patterns. The perception shift was immediate. I watched it happen. One moment she's the human in rags. The next, she's the successor to a bloodline that held a moon against impossible odds. That coat stopped being a joke, started looking like a battle flag that survived when everything else burned. Alara walked back to her seat, draped the coat over the chair, picked up her datapad, and we all just sat there, learning the most important lesson the Citadel never taught. Ancestral legacy isn't about what you wear, it's about what refuses to quit, even when the fabric's falling apart. The danger of underestimating the weak isn't that they'll surprise you once. It's that they've already survived worse than you can imagine.